5 months ago, roughly, in October, you and your husband went through a crazy health scare. Like, we literally, truly crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So, I feel like this is just one of those ultimate surrender stories.
Yeah.
So, walk us through that, because I vaguely remember you texting our park group.
Just like...
Tell us.
So, he was running the Prairie Fire half marathon. And he ran cross country in high school, and he was good at it. But we've been married for 5 years. We have 2 boys, another on the way. Like, life is just different. So he just is obviously not in the shape that he was when he was in high school. We're 27. So he was training for it. Not as well as he probably should have, in my opinion. Because, he's like, I still got it. So he ran it was October 12th, and he was running the Prairie Fire half marathon, and I went and saw him at the halfway point, and he did look great. Like, he looked great. He was, like, the day before he had ran into one of his fraternity brothers from college, and they realized that they were going to be running the same race, and so he's like, Riley asked his fraternity brother, like, hey man, do you want to pace, be my pacer? Like, we'll pace each other. And he's like, yeah, sure, that's going to be great. It'll be so good. And because they're one of those weird people that can talk when they run, Like, I don't know.
I don't recall ever having that skill.
No, like, they can, catch up. So it's like, it's going to be like a bonding thing for them. I'm like, oh, okay.
You vaguely remember my asthmatic self running around the church.
I just, there's people who run, and then there's people who can run just, nonchalantly at, a crazy pace and, hold conversations, and that was Riley and his fraternity brother. So I saw them at the halfway point at that race with the boys, and he looked great. And then we get to the finish line, and I didn't see, I had a little tracker on my phone, and I didn't see that he passed the finish line yet. And then I saw him running by, and he looked really terrible, honestly, for lack of better words. There's just no other way to put it. I was like, all right, he's just feeling it. He's 27. He didn't... He's got some sympathy, dad weight put on. But good for him. I'm so proud of him, pushing through. And he was going to get the time that he wanted, which was very ambitious. But then I never saw him finish never cross the finish line. And I just had a feeling. I just was like, he's probably in the medical tent or something. And then I get a call from a Texas number, and I had 2 or 3 missed calls from them. And I just knew that it was a medical person, probably. So I answered that phone call, and they're like, we have your husband. He collapsed. He's right outside. They told me where he was at. He was very close to the finish line. He had run 13 of the 13.1.
0.1?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
But he was unconscious, and he was breathing, but his heart rate was rapid. So I just remember my mom luckily came with me, because I had my 2 boys, and I don't know, if you're familiar with going to these half marathons, there's people everywhere. There's certain points you can go to cheer on the people that you're there for, which is what we did. But we were clear, we're by the East Mall, and then we needed to get back to the Windsurge Stadium for the finish line.
Oh my goodness.
So it's getting in the car, again, and then parking is crazy. So I just, wanted extra help, extra hands. And my mom wanted to be supportive, of course. We wanted to have a little crowd of people there to cheer him on. So luckily I was like, can you take the boys? I'm going to go figure this out. And then we realized it was dire, he needed an ambulance. And he had trouble breathing, and so they were going to intubate him. And they were like, he's going to the hospital. So that was just everything was just moving so fast. The reason that they were able to call me as quickly as they did, because he was running with his fraternity brother, who at the time, I had been dating Riley since we were freshmen in high school. So by the time we were in college together, we were obviously still together, and this fraternity brother knew me and knew, who I was, and he knew my name, and so he could be like, this is his emergency contact, and then they have all that info, rather than sitting there trying to look it up, wasting that time. So it was really such a gift that they just happened to run into each other. He stayed together. He saw Riley fall. He went ahead and finished, yeah, duh, you got 0.1. So he finished and then ran right back to Riley, and was then very helpful to be able for me to come and be at the scene.
That is a God thing.
Mm-hmm. It is. There's so many of those things like throughout this experience that happened, which I think brought me a lot of peace in the moment.
Yeah.
Just like that, having his name's John Ramey was there, and he stayed with me. And once I knew an ambulance was coming, I told my mom, like, I'm giving you the keys to my car. I'm going with him in the ambulance if they'll let me. Like, please take the boys. I don't want them to see him like this, like unconscious on the ground. Like, they turn him over on his back and he would throw up, so they had to turn him on his side. Like, just really scary things, like you could see his chest like beating and his eyes are just like rolled back. And, I'm just like thinking like, okay, he just overdid it. Hopefully this isn't like a serious like medical thing, but you just don't know. It's just all so scary right there.
Right, and your brain kind of has to justify what it sees to keep you calm so that you can handle.
Yes. My mom frequently tells my husband now, you are married to a rock.
She feels like she wouldn't have handled it as well.
My mom was crying, and I told her to stop because she had my boys. I was like, please don't cry. You have the boys. Take the keys, and I will call you when I have information. Which, I don't know if that's nice or not, but she's like, yeah, okay. My mom is obviously, as any mother would, if I had my boys in that situation, and it was, a future wife that was in that situation, I would probably be very nervous for my children too.
Right.
Especially like a lot of unknown. But I was like, I can't handle anything more than what I'm handling right now. I know that my boys are in good care, so I just need you to be stable for them because they're going to be nervous. They were here, promised that they were going to see their dad after he ran, and now they are not. And my boys are 4 and 2, so like...
It's really hard to shift that for a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old and not justify it.
No, also, yeah, and not justify it. And so, like, they could be upset about that, but it's also then just the unknown of, like, well, why aren't we seeing Daddy? And we don't know. We don't know exactly why you're not. It's just, and it's a really scary situation. So, how much are we willing to open them up to? Because we don't even know the full extent of the situation. So, my mom, having 7 children, was just, like, remembered that Riley had really bad shin splints. And she goes, your daddy's legs are just really hurting him right now, and the doctors need to look at him. So...
Oh, that's brilliant.
I was like, wow, lovely, Mom, good job. So she graciously took the kids and went back to the car, and I waited for the ambulance with Riley, and John Ramey stayed with me until we got into the ambulance, which was nice just to have someone there. He was very scared, of course, though, too. So... I don't know. There was some, and then everybody gathers around because, like, yes, running a half marathon is a big deal, but I don't think things like this happen too often. Like, it's so severe. People have to stop running. People have to, I don't know, be seen because they have shin splints or, like, their side is really hurting or they collapse at the end, but, like, they're still conscious. They just give everything they had, but they're still awake. They can speak.
And he was not any of those things.
He was not any of those things. His heart rate was absurd, apparently. And like, the medical people were not sugarcoating anything for me. And I asked the question, I was like, well, did someone call an ambulance? They responded with, oh yes, we did. He needs an ambulance. Kind of like, duh, lady. Like, there's no way around this. This is serious. And so then it's like, okay, maybe this isn't, I don't know what this is. Like, is there something wrong with his heart? Like, then your mind just goes into all those things. And we couldn't leave right away once the ambulance got there because he was unstable. They had to intubate him in the ambulance. So they were trying not to, like, he obviously wasn't conscious. His heart rate was crazy, and then he was having a hard time breathing. And so sitting in that ambulance was, like, in the front seat while they were working on my husband in the back, like, knowing my kids are with my mom, but then thinking, like, oh my gosh, am I going to lose my husband right here at Windsor Stadium because he tried to, like, run and finish a half marathon, which he has done, like, time and time again, over the years in high school. Like, he ran so much. I was like, this is not at all what I had expected. People are coming around and, like, looking at the ambulance, everybody's watching. I'm just sitting there trying to push down, my deepest, darkest thoughts of, is my husband going to die while we're sitting here? trying not to let myself spiral because I don't have all the answers and I don't know all the things.
Mm-hmm.
And then a really sweet lady came up and was like, "Can I pray for you?"
Oh.
Mm-hmm. And she was like a mother figure. Like, she was so very sweet. And I was like, yes, of course. And that was like the first time I had like kind of broke down a little bit with her because she was so sweet and was just asking God to wrap his arms around me and my husband. And it was just very sweet. And anytime, there was about 4 times when I was sitting in the front seat of the ambulance where I would kind of start spiraling, like, oh my gosh, my husband's going to die. There would be a distraction that came. And so she was the first. And then the second was a little kid who was like, "I like your ambulance." And I was like, "Yeah, it's pretty cool, huh?" Kind of like, kick rocks, kid. Like,
I got a lot to think about. I can't.
I was like, "You sweet baby angel." Doesn't understand, but his innocence took me out of the severity of the moment, you know? And then I go back and sit down. I'm like, okay, I got it. And then I start spiraling again. And then one of the workers comes by and says, like, he's in really good hands. And again, I start spiraling again. And another worker comes by and he's just like reassuring that Riley is in good hands and that we were getting ready to leave, because that's all I kept thinking, like, what in tarnation is going on? Like, I'm not a medical professional. I don't know how you intubate someone, like, the ins and outs of everything. But it seemed like it was taking an eternity. You know, you watch, like, medical shows and you're like, that's pretty quick, right? Like, you've seen Grey's Anatomy.
We have to fix everything and do it in 45 minutes.
Exactly. So it's just like, you have no concept of what things should take, you know, time-wise. So God was definitely there, and in the moment I could feel it too. Like, the John Ramey thing came to my attention as soon as he was there. I was like, that's, like, of course, like, really good that Riley got to run with him, but he was there to comfort and to be someone to give information, like, very quickly.
To get you there.
To get me where I needed to be, which I had a feeling, like, you know, you're connected to your spouse. I just had this feeling, like, I'm like, he hasn't crossed yet, like, there's something wrong. And I wasn't going to, like, go out and search for him. But John Ramey was able to get those answers to me pretty quickly. And then those people praying for me when I was spiraling. And then that morning, I try and listen to the daily rosary meditation podcast with Dr. Mike Schurslick and Teresa Schurslick. I believe I'm saying their name right. They're out of Kansas City. And I like that. I tried to listen to it pretty regularly. Well, I hadn't. I had just found out with like 3 or 4 weeks prior to this race that I was pregnant. And so I had just, like, gotten out of my routine. Well, that morning of the race, I decided to listen to it. And it was all about a mom and her husband who were home one day, and they have a bunch of kids, and their little 2-year-old went down for a nap, and she went to go wake him up, and he wasn't breathing. Like, and so they had to call the ambulance. And the entire time she was in the ambulance, went in the back of the ambulance with him, and she just, you know, probably didn't feel it, but she just kept saying, like, "Lord, I trust your will," or "I trust your will." Like, "Lord, I love your plan." Ooh. Or no, it was, here it is. "Lord, I love your will. Lord, I love your will." And so I was just saying that to myself over and over again. I was like, how am I relating to this lady that I just listened to this morning? Like, what if I hadn't listened to her? Like, would I be this calm? Probably not. It was a gift for sure. Yeah. Sitting in the front seat, just saying, "Lord, I love your will. Lord, I love your will," with a, "I won't understand it if you take him, but Lord, I love your will," you know, type of thing. Like,
this is still really hard for me, but I'm trying to release everything to you because it's all that I have.
That's all that I have. So it was so I knew God's hand was in it, like, immediately, which brought a peace, you know, to me. And then we left, we went to St. Francis, and it all began. We were admitted October 12th, and discharged on October 22nd. So.
And it just got, I think, crazier and crazier what you guys were dealing with, because it wasn't even, I don't know, was it anything anybody had, I mean, not that they hadn't heard of it, but it's pretty...
I always...
Uncommon?
Yeah, it's common amongst, like, marathon runners.
Okay.
It's called, I don't know like the official, like I do, but I don't know how to say it. I'm going to butcher it. So I just shorten it to RHABDO, which is just...
Isn't it like rhabdomyolysis or myolysis or something?
Yes, exactly that. But I just was calling it RHABDO the whole time.
So much easier.
It is so much easier. So basically it was just his muscles were breaking down at an accelerated rate. So when you work out, like your muscles are supposed to break down so that they can rebuild. So you can rebuild that muscle. And make them stronger and whatever. His were just breaking down at an accelerated rate that it just was, it's toxic. It got into his blood. And
so like the muscle fibers breaking down themselves release these toxins into his system.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's like so
crazy.
In the ER, his I used to know the official names of these doctors. Oh, his nephrologist, which is AKA his kidney doctor. He talked about it being like coffee grounds. So
okay.
like, you drink like the perfect, maybe not perfect cup of coffee, but you have a nice cup of coffee and at the bottom there's just like the ground beans. He's like, that's what is like in Riley's blood right now. And so your kidneys filter out all those kinds of things that are like in your body. I don't know what else gets in our body our kidneys filter things out. So that was its job, to filter out these little beans. Well, Riley had so many of them that it clogged up his kidneys and caused them to go dormant because it was just too many. So then he's just sitting there, his muscles still deteriorating at a slower rate when you're not moving, but like still deteriorating. And then nowhere for them to go.
Nowhere to detoxify.
So he's just full of toxicity. And it affected every single part of his body. It affected his heart, his kidneys. Like, it could have started affecting other organs as well, but his heart was a big one and his kidneys were big. Obviously they went dormant. And then the protocol for RHABDO, usually when it's not as a severe case, is to, from my understanding, is you flush the body full of fluids so that you can flush out all of the little brown coffee bean muscle pieces.
Tiny muscle fiber things.
Yes. And so it comes out of your body. It comes out in your pee over time. Pretty quickly. When they're not that severe. But
sounds so simple.
It does. But it just takes a little bit of time. And your muscles, you just can't use your muscles for a few days because you want them to rest. Well, this was just so severe. There's a couple numbers that they can look at to understand the magnitude of the injury. And one of them was his CK levels, which is, I believe, I should have brushed up on this, but I believe the CK number tells you how injured the kidneys are.
I think that's what I remember you saying,
Mm-hmm.
and his was like off the charts.
So it's supposed to be anywhere from 98 to 200 is like a normal CK level or whatever. His was over 42,000, and we couldn't even get a correct, because that's as high as the test would go. So
you don't even know if
how high it went.
Wow,
it just
because it
stopped
just maxed out there
at 42,000.
Oh, dang.
Mm-hmm. So that was really scary to hear. But again, I'm not a medical professional, so I was just, taking everybody's bedside manner to heart because that's all that I had. I was taking this, like, God gave me this opportunity to listen to this podcast before this entire journey. Like, there's all these people that he has placed in, my path, like, in the really hard moments. So I know he's here with me. And that brought me a lot of peace. Called our parents, of course, and they were there with us. I called Riley's brother, who is, oh my gosh, I'm going to butcher this. He used to be a nurse, and I'm pretty sure he's going to school to be a PA right now.
Mm-hmm. So he has this medical experience.
He's also just a very cool, calm, and collected guy. So I knew I wanted him there. One, to help, like, bring this jargon into layman's terms for me. Selfishly, but also because Riley would want his brother there. It's the only sibling that lives in Wichita.
Good, and it's a sibling that's close.
Yes. And then also, he just has a cool cool demeanor about him. So he could be freaking out inside, but talk about a rock. Like,
I do not have that skill.
yeah.
I don't feel like you're freaking out. And I'm like, yes, I am. Yes,
The Lord showed me I do have that skill, but it's by His grace.
Yes, go you. You can impart that to me someday.
Yes. I'll hope you don't need it. So he was there. My dad met me at the hospital. He was the first person there, and which is very comforting, you know, to have your parents there. Yeah, and he's the first person there. Like, he almost beat the ambulance, so like he was flying.
Wow.
I know. And like, we were at the Windsor Stadium, and my parents live on the west side of Wichita, so
dang.
his daughter called and he was there, you know, so it's like you feel really supported through it all, which also helps all the uncertainty. It was decided that he was going to get moved to the CICU, so the coronary intensive care unit. And I didn't understand why at that point. It was kind of like they knew why they were sending him, but there's like a lot of like, I don't want to say miscommunication, but there's so many different doctors on it. It's like they know and then they'll tell us later type of thing, which is really hard. But it was also very, very nice to have Mason there because he could tell us, like, this is probably why. I don't really know, but he has worked in hospital settings. He's worked with doctors. He understands, like, different protocols and things like that. And he had actually worked at St. Francis before. So it was really nice to have him there. I didn't realize Riley's heart was so bad, but you think I would have put two and two together, like, why is he going to the coronary, you know, intensive care unit? Why wouldn't he just go to ICU? Until we were in there and they were like, his heart is not doing well because of all of it, because of the stress of everything. I was told that not by, they had much better bedside manner. I had an aunt that used to work in the CICU, so of course I was texting her. And in her terms, which was nice not to sugarcoat it, it was a lot at the moment, but she said his heart is like an 85-year-old man's on his deathbed, Tess. So I was like, oh, okay. And that was all within like not even 24 hours. The race started, I think, at like 7, and this was probably like 9 o'clock that night, you know. I'm in the CICU. Everybody had left that was going to left. Riley's mom stayed with me that night. You're only supposed to have one visitor, but they didn't push it, so they were very kind. We weren't causing any problems, so she let me have the recliner, and she slept in two very uncomfortable chairs. I didn't really sleep, but so I had someone there with me, but I was caring for him all night. And then when I get told his heart is like an 85-year-old man on his deathbed, I was like, he's just so fragile. You know, you look at your husband, and I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm like, he's like the rock of our family. He's like our strong family man. Like,
oh yeah, takes care of so much.
Yeah. So much, like, physically.
Yeah, things I don't even think about until, like, you know, he's gone on a trip. I'm like, oh, you really preserved me from having to do so many things.
Like,
yeah.
Honestly, like, all, like, the hard, like, physical things, like, that aren't super hard that I could do, but because I have a husband who is loving and takes on those things, like, taking out the trash, you know, like...
taking the trash cans
to
down
the
to the
curb.
curb, or, yes.
You know...
checking on things in the backyard.
Exactly. Like, I hear a noise, and, you know...
I send him.
And he goes.
Yes.
We have old doors on our house, and so they're kind of hard to open. And one of the
kind
locks...
of a blessing.
It is. But the locks, they kind of stick. And I realized, you know, a couple nights into him being in the hospital, I'm like, oh my gosh, I think my husband locks this door every single night. You know? And I'm, like, sitting there, like, getting frustrated, like
there has to be a sweet spot.
What the heck? Like, I can't be this weak.
Our doors are the exact same way.
Yeah. Just no muscle memory. That's what I blamed it on.
I'm like, dang it, I did not have this in the sweet spot, and it won't turn. But yeah, the things you underestimate that they take care of until you're suddenly doing it yourself.
Exactly, and those were the things that made me the most sad. So I was with him the first 4 days, like, a lot, because it was like life or death. Like, no one ever said that. None of the doctors did. We had a couple different cardiologists because some of the bedside manners of the cardiologists were just like too, like, short and sweet for me, just like, well, we don't like where his heart's at, but we can't do anything about it. And I'm like, aren't we in a place where we do try and think outside of the box? But it was like a balance between not trying to hurt his kidneys more and trying to help his heart. So a lot of medication that would help his heart would injure his kidneys more. And his kidneys are the ones that's like causing the problem. Like, you know, they're not releasing. So they can't take any more damage because there's the risk of having to be on dialysis one day, like forever.
Oh my.
And they didn't want to start dialysis yet for the fear of the kidneys not ever waking back up. So we were just sitting in this like waiting period for 2-3 days of just like letting his body rest, but he was just getting more and more sick because there was just so many toxins that were not releasing his body. So I remember the first night he actually was intubated and he woke up, and they wanted to keep him sedated enough to respond, but you know, out of it enough to where he's not like ripping tubes out and things like that. But that first night he was writing to me a lot, asking questions. He didn't know where he was. I had to tell him where he was. I told him he was in the ICU and his eyes got really big, and it's like he just noticed the tube in his mouth, and you know, like trying not to take it out. And he had tried 2 times previously down in the ER because he was just so out of it. So I was up with him more than I ever have been with we have 2 boys, than I ever was with a newborn baby. I was up with him so much more.
Wow. But
I was happy to be, because it was the first time I had like spoken with my husband, and he was still showing tendencies of like, this is Riley, like he is here, I haven't completely lost him, you know, like he was joking with me, he might have been out of it, but like his essence of his personality and who he was there, and I was like just yearning for that all day. And the unknowns,
some sign of life, effectively.
Exactly. So it was the happiest and most tired I've ever been in my life. Speaking to him, he asked me if he was gonna die, and I was like, no one ever said that you were gonna die. They didn't say that he wouldn't. They were very careful about the words that they used. They had, very good bedside manner, I guess, in that regard. But I told him, I said, no one said that. You know, I know that you got yourself here. You're the most stubborn and strong-willed person that I know. And I know that you will get yourself out of here, because I think God's will and your will to live go, not hand in hand. God's will is obviously more important.
But they work in conjunction with one another.
Exactly. And you have to be very, very strong to want to go through that. So, and his body was on fire, he said. He told me just recently, we talk about this experience a lot. We try and process it, because we went through a lot of really hard things. We have 2 boys at home. I was barely newly pregnant, living in the hospital for 10 days, going back and forth, trying to be there for all the important doctor's visits and be there for him, but also try and be there for our kids. In the scarier times, I was definitely with Riley much more, because I'm like, this is my spouse, and in a rightly ordered world, it would be God and spouse. So, but God first, and I'm like, well, spouse is over kids, so I have my kids in good hands. I will check on them. People bring them up to the hospital for me to see them. I would leave and go have dinner with them, and then I go right back up to the hospital, because I could lose my spouse. And that is a more important relationship. I guess just in a rightly ordered world. I don't know if that's the best way to think of it, but...
Well, your marriage is your kid's impression of so many things, of the world, how people interact, honestly, of God and his love, how you interact and love one another. And so, yeah, your spouse comes first. And I think there's so many books and conversations we've had about the value of that for our kids, even if we don't see it. So, yeah, it makes total sense that you would also want to be right there with your spouse and not miss anything.
And so much uncertainty, for sure.
Right.
So there was a lot of uncertainty in the beginning. No promises were being made. I would, go to sleep in that recliner every night, I faced the recliner towards Riley's monitors, which was just anxiety inducing, but there was a surrender throughout this whole process that I had to have that I've never had before. But it's like, I know I have my faith, but like, that is all that I had, because his life was on the line. I would have told you before this incident that my biggest fear is losing someone that I feel too soon, that I'm very close to. But really, like, the biggest fear would have been losing Riley, because we talk about, like, you leave and cleave to your spouse, you leave your parents, they're hopefully, like, not hopefully, but, like, go before you, so you know at some point, like, they're not always going to be in your life. Your siblings also separate from you. It's good to have a relationship with them. You know, your kids also leave you, but your spouse is the one relationship that you choose, and that you're not supposed to, we're not promised anything, but you obviously, look at me, I have the idea that I'm supposed to be with Riley forever. Like, we're supposed to live live a long life and die when we're old.
Yes, the two become one,
exactly.
And it's that intense bond that you don't quite have with anyone else.
Exactly. And so my biggest fear was being dangled right in front of my face. Like, and I just didn't know why, so I may never know why, but I was going to sleep and I just wrapped my beautiful rosary that my cousin Olivia made.
Oh, yes. A little Eden, friends. A little Eden. Check out her shop.
Yes, a little plug for her.
Always. I love her stuff.
Beautiful. I wrapped it around my wrist and I had the crucifix in the palm of my hand, and I just fell asleep like that every night. That's like all that I had. I had nothing else. Watching his monitors, waking up when he needed me to swab his mouth while he had a tube in his mouth. Like, hoping that he's still breathing when I woke up, because there was like, yes, there was so much anxiety around like going to sleep because I'm not in control, but also just like, I just had to go to sleep. There's nothing else I could do because I was not in control.
Well, your body needed it, and also the baby that you're growing in your womb.
Yep,
like,
I know.
You needed the rest, being in the first trimester, and very freshly so.
Yeah, that was crazy to think back.
Yeah.
That, yeah, it was I was so shocked and stressed that my symptoms had actually gone away. So I was worried that we were going to lose the baby. But really, it was just, my body was just under so much stress that it just, like, was like, I don't know. It's kind of a silver lining, like a gift in a way of, I could be tired, but I wasn't feeling like I was going to throw up all day. I didn't have much of an appetite anyway because of what I was going through, but the food that I did eat was not disagreeing with me. Like, it was very much a gift from God, you know, like, I'm asking a lot of you from this. You can have a break from this, pretty much, and your baby is still okay, which I was worried about. So I did go and get an ultrasound, like, when a few days later, once we knew that he was going to be okay, once they got him on dialysis and they were cleaning his blood every other day, or actually the plan was to do it every other day, and then they realized, we need to do it every day for a while. He felt so much better. It made him really tired, but they were getting the toxins out of his blood, so that his kidneys weren't
able to do.
They finally just bit the bullet and were like, yeah, let's just do dialysis at the risk of maybe your kidneys never coming back. So you could be on dialysis for a while. Worst case, you could have a kidney transplant. But once we saw that that was helping and he was improving in his life, in his heart, then the stress was taken off his heart and his heart was going back to normal. We didn't have to do certain tests on his heart that were questionable, like to see if he would, I don't know, if there was something bigger there. And it was really just I guess a byproduct of all the toxicity. I guess your heart, your heart flows blood throughout your body.
Yeah. And
his was just not doing it at a rate that it needed to. But it was like stunned. It was like stressed.
Yeah.
From everything going on.
Didn't know how to process
exactly
any of that.
Yeah, it was like me. We weren't processing anything at that time. We were just...
You and his heart were a reflection of each other there.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's kind of a cool way to think about, like, the two becoming one. In Kind of, sort of.
I was the outside version of his heart.
The outside version.
I was steady. I was dying
Still
on the
there?
inside a little bit.
Yeah. His heart was steady.
His heart was
dying on the inside a little bit.
But a rock, and it came through. So
yeah. Well, it's amazing that truly, it seems it was just the toxicity that triggered everything, which was the best case scenario.
Yeah, we don't really
in
have
some ways.
Yes, looking at it like that, we don't really have answers as to why. Because, like, RHABDO can happen, but it shouldn't have been so severe, is what they say. Like, you could get stuck on the shouldn't, couldn't, wouldn't. And I'm like, well, I did. So, but why? And we've done genetic testing, and there's no reason as to why it happened. So I have to sit with, well, God allowed it to happen for a reason. And whatever that is, Riley is very good about it. He was he had a hard time while he was in the hospital, but he pretty much has good spirits. Like, when we talk about it outside of it, of just like, it's for the greater good of something. And we might not know what that is this year. We might not know what it is ever in this lifetime. But one day God will bring us justice, and we will understand what it was for. And so that's really, I guess, what we've learned so much from this experience, is that it was really, really scary. I could get through my biggest fear. I don't think it's my biggest fear any longer, because I know that I could get through it if it were to happen. And I think the very first Sunday we went back to St. Peter's after Riley was discharged 10 days later. We love our parish priest, Father Curtis Hecker, and he's just awesome. And Riley went in with a cane, and he's like, I'm so happy to see you. Like, our parish family was really very uplifting. Like, they did a GoFundMe. They did, like, we had a meal train for like 3 months. Like,
oh yeah, you guys got fed well.
Beautiful. Riley works at the Chancery downtown, and so the amount of priests that were praying for us, all of our friends, our family, like,
quite possibly why he survived.
I believe so. I believe everybody just flooded God and was like, people were saying, they were praying like, Lord, I would not understand why you would take this man from this family. It's like, those were my prayers too. But I ended it with, I don't understand. I will never understand. Like, but I will trust your will. It was the I will trust your will that, like, needed to happen. I learned a lot. So I guess let me back up. There's a couple of realizations that I've had that are good things that have come from it. So we went back to Mass that Sunday, and that Sunday, Father was talking about what we idolize, like, what are our idols. And Father, said that he was sitting in adoration one day, and he had the realization that he idolized his priesthood, and everybody was, like, sitting there just like, well, maybe not everybody, but I was like, whoa, like, what a... Like, yeah, I'm sure you can. I'm sure that is something that a lot of priests can fall into. You have your checklist. Yeah. And you're just trying, like, I'm a priest, I gotta pray for these people. And then you idolize that over God's will and over God's plan. And I had the realization that I idolize my husband. Very much so, in our relationship. Because why would it be my biggest fear to lose him?
Why otherwise?
Why otherwise would that be my biggest fear over anything else?
It's almost like this was a call to detachment of some sort.
For sure. Riley and I have been together since we were, like I mentioned earlier, freshmen in high school. So we've done a lot of growing up together.
So like 13 years, give or take?
Yeah. I think this October...
You're 14 or 15?
I think this October, I think it'll be 13 years in October. So just, like, a lot of time to attach.
Yeah.
And to attach in an unholy way for years, and then to turn it into a holy way. But now it's like, I feel like this calling was to detach in a holy way, like a whole new way of looking at marriage. It's called me to dive deeper into, like of course I know why I got married, but to understand marriage better. And that Riley is not the person that I should idolize. I should be so gracious to God for the gift of my husband. Rather than be like, look at Riley as the idol, like he's the gift. But it's really God that I need to be thankful for. Because Riley can love me the way that he does through God. Because he answers God's call through marriage to love me in the way that he does. And lock the door that sticks. And take out the trash. And help raise our boys into God-fearing men. And give so much. And just be the light that he is. He has to choose to do all that. But he does that through the grace of God.
Right.
So it is through God that Riley is the way that he is. It's not because of Riley.
Right. Everything is a gift that flows from God. And it's really hard to shift into that mindset. I recall a time where I was, getting frustrated with my husband and realizing that I was trying to fill, a God-sized space with him. And instead of trying to project those struggles onto him and our relationship, I really needed to give them to God and then let everything flow from there. So once I shifted my perspective and I stopped trying to create an outcome based on who my husband is or to change a circumstance and just say, okay, God, this is what I feel like I need, or this is what I want. I'm going to give it to you. And, when my husband falls short, I'm going to fall into your arms and just let you hold me, because you will always do what is good and perfect for me. I started seeing so many little transformations in our relationship and even in my husband and how he responded to me. And I was like, wow, it's powerful to have that proper detachment, because I love my husband
of course
so much.
Yes.
But to know that it's okay for him to be human, and it's okay for him to mess up, and that God is going to fill that gap because there is sacramental grace here.
Yes.
I always have someone that I can rely on, and then it's not unfair to put all of the pressure of who my husband is supposed to be on him.
I think, that's like our closest relationship. On this earth we become one. And I had in previous years, done Empowered Wife, and I had read Unbound. And so it's like we found this really good balance of like how I can really respect Riley and how he can truly cherish me. And then I'm working on understanding like, people that are close to you are human and they're never going to fully fulfill you. But I have this husband who does no wrong in my mind. You know what I mean? Like, I truly love and respect him, and he truly cherishes me, and it is beautiful. But it's like, hold on, that's not. He is human, and he does make mistakes. But it is through God, like I had said earlier, that Riley is the way that he is. It's not just because it is all Riley. We're living and breathing because of God. It's not because of me.
Yep, and this was the most prime example that you're living and breathing because of God.
Yes, because of God. So yes, I learned through this experience that I idolized my husband, so I'm working on that and being very grateful for him, for the gift of his life, but understanding that it is a gift from God. And God allows both good and bad to happen for a greater good. There was another significant something diving into marriage and just what marriage is, so that I can hopefully not get back into this spot of idolizing my husband and just realizing like, how do I love my husband through God, if that makes sense. So it's like I can have this explanation, but then it's like I gotta walk the walk. I can't just talk the talk. So how do I do that? And I think I was thinking about it on the way over here, and it was like a bigger picture of, I realized what faith really was during this whole experience was, I don't have to actually feel it, but I need to, like, I don't have to feel like I am going to be okay with God's decision, but I need to say it, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like that is the bridge to faith. Like, because we are human.
Declaring it into existence.
We are human.
Yeah.
So I have emotions that I'm going to have to deal with. I was not made for earth. I was made for heaven. So there are going to be really hard things that I go through in this life. But the idea of faith is like believing in something that you can't see, touch, feel, know.
Right, like St. Augustine says. Yeah.
And so that's what that really was.
And the reward is seeing that result in a way.
So it's like I always think of the what if of like, well, what if he really did die like but he didn't, and so I guess that's what I'm struggling with now. Is there seems to be more struggles emotionally now than there was in the moment, because it felt like God was so close, and so very fitting for Lent. It feels like, well, I see him in our everyday life, but now I have questions about then, but I don't feel you as close now because it's not as like dire. I don't just have my faith, I do have my husband here. I do have, you know, my kids, and we're back at home living our life, and I'm growing our third child, and he doesn't have any like long-term health issues from it, other than the fact that he's not supposed to run a half marathon again. He's not supposed to run that intense again.
Reasonable.
But to be honest, I was scared to tell him that, because that was like his number one way of working out. He loved to run, but he was like, oh, not a big deal, that's fine. Which maybe most people would be like, you don't gotta tell me twice not to run.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
would feel that way.
I know.
If I was about dead from running, I'd be like, oh, yep.
It's okay. You don't gotta tell me twice. Yeah. I just joke. I'm like, we're to be a weightlifting family.
Yeah.
Running is dangerous.
Weights. Yeah. Yep, do some Pilates or something.
I'm your typical suburban mom. Get my weights out. Do follow my lady on YouTube who's shredded, and
sometimes a resistance band is included. Yes.
And I am happy and healthy doing that. But yeah, so there's a lot of realization. This is going to be like a long process of dealing with lots of different things. I feel like I'm in the next stage of dealing with, well, why did you allow that to happen? Because now I have a lot of emotional things that I'm personally working through. Just anytime Riley's not around, he leaves for work every once in a while, and so then I like imagine what my life, like this could have been my life, like, you know. And I truly do believe that the prayers, like, I don't know what God's will was. I mean, I don't know if he intended to take him and then everybody prayed and was like,
how about no?
Yeah. How about no? Or I don't really know. It's the really of not knowing why he allowed it to happen. I see the good that's come from it, but I don't know why. And I don't know if I'll ever know why. And I don't even have a physical explanation as to why. None of the tests come back telling us this is why it happened. There's nothing.
When you were saying that you went back and read the notes, and the rate of, or the likelihood of mortality was way higher than you thought it
said
was in the moment.
Why he was put into the CICU, it was high probability of organ failure and mortality. And I was like, oh my gosh, so like he was at death's doorstep, you know. So it's like, so why didn't you take him? I don't know. I'm very happy that you didn't, but it just, everything was going against us for so long. Other than like spiritually, we, you know, had so many people praying for us. There was lots of things going for us, and physically lots of things going against our situation. And so I ask why a lot, but I'm trying to have a good, not understanding, because I might not ever understand, a good like relationship with the emotions that I'm still feeling just 5 months down the road, that I know I'm going to feel, you know, years down the road, because you can't, like, your body remembers. We pass by the stadium and that's the first thing that I think of, you know. My husband laying there and everything that I felt. It's like my emotions are still there. I don't want them to be there, but they're still there. I try not to dwell on it, but it's like there's so many things that remind me of like what my life could have been like without a husband, what my life was like in that moment. And even it's just times of being grateful of like, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful that you are alive. You know, we had Christmas soon after that, and it was like, thank you, Jesus, that my husband gets to turn 27. His birthday is December 28th. And it's just like, it's just a constant reminder. So trying to work through all of that and not be negative about it. Because there are so many reminders. Constantly.
This seems like the biggest challenge of surrender yet, but it still sounds like there's a lot of beautiful things the Lord's bringing out, and you don't know either, and maybe he doesn't know because he was at death's door, right? What healing or transformation the Lord was doing within his heart in those moments, because...
No, I know he doesn't. We have conversations. I ask him, I'm like, so what's going on? I'm like a very much like a deep thinker, and he's like, he'll tell me things. He says that he came out with it with more gratitude, and he doesn't have like a distrust in God. Like, he just doesn't have the same issues that I have. And he was the one.
In his defense, he was pretty unconscious.
Well, he felt things eventually, but
yes,
he just doesn't have those issues, and so it's also
maybe that's also a grace from God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't want him to feel the way that I feel, but I feel like there should be something. Like, are you human?
Maybe that was the redeeming factor, that the Lord did a lot of work. It's like most people, might get prayed over and fall into like resting in the Spirit. Mm-hmm. But he needed knocked out for one reason or another.
He's got the dang strong. He's got a strong will.
I mean, you never know how many times we push God and we're kind of like a toddler, mm-hmm. and then he's like, "Okay, time out."
I know. I thought that. I was like, "What did we do?"
You're like, can we talk?
Yeah, I was like,
I take it back.
I'm sorry. Like, what did we do? What are we trying to... have you heard... I don't know which saint it was. I'm probably going to butcher it, but it was... Maybe I read it in a book somewhere, but it was like, you should be worried if God doesn't give you opportunities to grow. And, like, tough opportunities to grow.
Yeah. And
I was like, shoot, this is a big one. Like... It's like, am I finally ready for like the boss?
Yes,
like,
am I ready to level up in this thing?
Yes.
I was just doing research for what will be this issue, mm-hmm. of the magazine that will talk about all this stuff in, and for the last installment of the Ignatian Rules of Discernment. Mm. And it talks about there's 3 reasons that we go into desolation. One is we choose to be lazy and lukewarm, mm-hmm. and fall out of our spiritual exercises, so consolation goes away. Uh-huh. Or secondarily, God wishes to try us, mm-hmm. so that we have the opportunity, without him holding our hands, mm-hmm. to excel, mm-hmm. and to grow, mm-hmm. and to effectively, it phrases it like prove your worth, but you're like, I'm here whenever you come back, so
yeah,
like, whenever you want to show up, I'll still be doing what you asked me to do, mm-hmm. kind of
having the faith.
Yes, having the faith.
Yeah.
And I think there are so many saints, like Mother Teresa is a great example. She spent most of her life in desolation, mm-hmm. and she still did the work of God every day, and mm-hmm. she never lost faith that he gave her a mission and she was to do it. Mm-hmm. And it was so powerful that like it produced miracles. Mm-hmm. Her extraordinary faith was just incredible. And so I think when we have these moments, it provides the greatest opportunity for us to step into that space and allow what we know about God and his character to shine through all of the darkness. Because, there were people who watched how you handled this. There were people mm-hmm. who watched this miracle in real time. Mm-hmm. There are people who were probably spurred to use their gifts, mm-hmm. and to step out in faith to take care of you guys that would have never done it before.
That's true, yeah.
And it became this testimony and this community building. Mm-hmm. And you never know on which level God was. He was working on all the levels because he's God. But
yes,
it became so much more of a ripple effect, because everybody I think that I saw knew that this was happening.
Yes.
And I had people texting me who were like, wait, isn't this someone you know? And I was like, yes. This is, like the ripple effect. Yes, exactly. The ripple effect was very intense.
I told you about the first lady that came and calmed me down and prayed for me, speaking mm-hmm. of the ripple effect. I wanted to say this at some point, but just didn't know where to fit it in. Like, I don't know if it was like weeks or like a month later, I get a message on my Facebook Messenger app, and it was one of my old coworkers that I used to work with at 12 Restaurant and Bar in college, and she's a lovely lady. Her name is Jenna, and she was asking me about Riley, and she goes, kind of a weird thing, but was there a lady that like came and prayed for you? And I was like, yeah. She's like, this lady is my old roommate's mother, and she's been trying to follow your story. She had been so scared for you. And when I saw what was happening and then had talked to my friend about it, my friend was like, my mom prayed for his wife. And so then I was like, oh my gosh.
So cool.
You can tell her that you know me. And she, I don't believe, was a part of the Catholic community, or else she would have heard. So, because it was everywhere. And so I was like, you can go back and tell her. Like, I really appreciated her. Like, because I would have never seen this woman again. And so she got validation from me, and also that Riley was okay, and it was crazy, and then could follow his story, like could find it. And
so crazy.
I know, speaking of the ripple effect, so I was like, wow, I hadn't spoken to this girl in years. Like, I stopped working after I had my first child. He's almost 5. So for her to know the lady that stepped out of her way to pray for me.
Yes.
And
what a leap of faith.
Such a draw. Like,
to pray for you.
A stranger, a young woman, you know. And then
holy boldness. I love it.
Yes. And then to come back around and have a connection somehow for both her and me. So,
Oh, so good. Wow. Well, thank you for coming on and sharing your story and your insights. I've been looking forward to this one, and every time we have to reschedule interviews or things get crazy, I know it's going to be so good because the enemy is just trying to get in the way. I feel like I have to say it in every interview I record because every time something chaotic happens, and frankly, the fruit is there.
Yes.
So I know the story is going to be so epic because, and I'm so curious to see how God reveals himself to you further, and just the surrender it took and all the things you guys have gone through is just incredible.
Yes, incredible. Hard, incredible. It was everything. It is everything.
Yes. And you're still here, and God is still providing and still loving you through all of it. Yeah.
He is good.
Thanks for coming on and sharing.
Thanks for letting me talk for like 30 minutes.
Hey friends, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Holy Surrender podcast. You can find everything that we're doing over at www.holysurrender.com. There you'll even find the link to my Substack, where I am sending out a newsletter every Sunday and every other Thursday. Sundays are free, and Thursday always includes a resource of some kind in our resource library, reserved for those of you who subscribe annually for $45 or monthly for $5. And you can even find all 6 magazines in the archives there as well. So go over and check all of that out. Check out our shop on Etsy, see if you want some merch, or you can still purchase the old versions of the magazine, physical or digital, individually. Also, this podcast is sponsored by NAP Ministries, who are out evangelizing, helping those in need, helping the homeless, and helping those come back to the church and evangelize their neighborhoods so that we can bring the kingdom to greater glory locally. Go check out what they're doing over at NAP Ministries.